Easy on the beat.
Abusiafo how you classify show base and then no first time I be like it. One subscribe and one share am I. And then in some ben na course wo highway ni so bibia open wo highway ni so no aha anan concern nyina ewo vim lady ababe church nsemu concern deportation course so no. Then na vim lady ka yenko ne enkotie lawyer nso ebekasa church nsemu Ghana fo ahen na e deport wo mo yenko na yenkotie nsemu ni nyina like and share and subscribe aha classify show base.
Since Donald Trump did deportation, I deal with buy. Did Ghana embassy for so young one you man said the minister, foreign affairs minister, Okujetua Black announce So far, Omo Ayetichi Omo and say ni the Ghana for shut down but we ask a lawyer near man a list of how many Ghanaians are on the list now. Because now for deportation list so that but some of them had lawyers, so they were going through the process. And then the second part of the program we'll come back and talk about corruption. Because I know what's here. OSP, U10. You see, more you can OSP as someone. You all ganged up and insulted us now. Fire burn you for want of a better expression. Fire don't see legal issue as here. Many politics and make can say no. Many politics and make can say no. Between NDC and NPP supporters, you people want to reduce every issue to politics when it's not even about politics. OSP issue, no, a legal issue. I also did Charlie era, Kenopoyatan, a legal issue, and any political matters. You because court, you're quiet for political matters, also a criminal act, political issue be any a legal issue, any charge, I would bet to a bisono. Quite do I would bet to a bisono, and was so prove it in court. So when prove ya, judge has no option but to let the person go. Because any judge let you want to be prove your mouth. Wow, prosecute the pan. What you will do must be prove. And the OSB in the press conference, first one, I declare for Yata fugitive. Yeah, in so for Yata than who he. Because Otman Ghana as a finance minister, we all know what he did. Because a Jumana any politicians go on our yam. And then MPP from Kwana Oyam, Ghana, India, they want to Abama, you are doing the job for everybody. So what you say? And the name so for Yata demand, so even to the extent say, MP scratch all letter, a friend, President Kufuor at the time, said Pamuni, not 10 shimra from 28. Indeed, the happy to for Yata, no, another cry is to be blamed. Or my penny, another is to be blamed. I don't know when Tiam and uncle. Sometimes when the kitchen is hot, you need to step out of the kitchen. Step out of the kitchen. Let Jim from Waba. So, but OSP, you can't go for the you should charge him. I know you're crown for. It does not lie in your mouth to determine whether it'll be a crown for or not. Crown will be a crown for a court next year. And you want because then you want no cavities in the go. I think the back of my declare will be a crown for. No, it does not lie in your mouth to declare will be a crown for. A court to pay. Even the OSP cannot determine to be a crown for. Court, and I got the case court. The OSP does not have any power to determine anybody's crown for level. It's only a court that can do it. Only the end of the charge, based on prima facie element of established, say, chrono, no, ocean law, Nima, as I said, what you be there, what for be there from Benkum to Nifa. What the appropriate idea, no, say qualifier, not the charge about, not the work of court, so that the court will determine. And the other one, my OSPC, or U10, or no one can say, a fugitive, but on your fugitive. Say there, a wanted, but I'm not trying to lawyers, so they are waiting for him to report himself. Because such a lawyers no letters or the buyer. Technically, fugitive definition unqualified. Because one trouble letter say, Nipano, I say, where are you as a president? I'm here. But mini Ghana, me wa America, me wa Minnesota, mama the address of the hospital. Open verifier. OSB could just have written or even called Mayo Clinic to say that I'm passing as soon as you're so or more. Because we have a legal document that the person says or more patient or more. You could have easily done it. And you check or a brofo, normal brofo, normal brofo, the definition of fugitive. A can of your account. In the OSPC, on an account about Fedo Obwa. Why are you embarrassing yourself? So, you know any more on him. Or you'll be alone or bench it. Wash it. But instead, I know we go to Facebook and call for Shuma, call for the embedded attempt. What did he attempt till thy kingdom come? It won't change the facts, it won't change the law. Said the law, it's an sanity. And Moody attempt, and then OS we have a better say, what change, you know, it's the same macadam. You see, this is why a case is called HNO. And check because technicality say, oh, not judge BNM. Now, for catching them, issue a bench and catch it. That don't say it. Even in the case of Akotia MPDA Abeya Abrano, they say court are convicting for contempt. No, it's not a final issue. They say court Akotia MP court say we're convicting of contempt. More it will be a monama and I end the judge Becca and a judge will come in. So, what I said you rough for court now, Ube who level. Court the ending Guasamo. To your president, to your MP, you have for baby for contempt that. You best side too, says here. And Jacotia MP so no one wanted no more. But you see, and it's not here final because Jacotia MP no lawyers. Even to make appeal against the conviction. Court, I have put near what we did the court to near womu grade. You womu grade, your court ketwa, your court a year a infifi, and your quarter, as someone in our want to ask you the back. Appeals court. Any our court, Supreme Court. It's not a done deal. He can go to Court of Appeal because a high court now a decision, so I'm convicted. And you bet me a court, a appeal court overturning. But you see, court to be a mouth can say another court in him. Still content issue. No. Judgments never answer MP. I have no swerving or parliament. What was it? National security go to my parliament or Metano Abontin. Inside parliament, they will not arrest him. But Metano Abontin, we are so clear Bontin, parliament, how far a children want to see or soon, I know what you. Because the court order. And here I told you, I'm my for politics, and focus on the needful, the necessary, the important. And then we also look at this oral issue. No, here at the middle of one warning that I say, look, no, and no, what we years ago, pay, what the money out there, we a full soldier, not party work, and then be one camp of Punio, then I know Punio or brother cheese with you. Or brother cheese with you. It does not lie, like I'm saying, so refugee remember this thing. It does not lie in your mouth. You are new. One the boss I no cry, Mr. Medical, say that for man can far people home. And that for one prosecution, and that for man can far people home. And not from into enough form so you'll be back jail. And not from so because nobody discuss say from Rollins address over President Kufo winning elections. And then people say, hey, it's what discuss Uncle Siaga. How many cases were they able to prosecute? How many cases? President Kufo Prefia. Now even Chachichikata crowd prosecuting the case, gonna for man pardon. And Chachichikata went to court, Supreme Court for interpretation. One of the charges are willfully causing financial loss to the state. But then Kwana Bani now politicians said you better that die and almost said you might Jimmy Yeti. Yes, ye John. Ye John. No, my buy a big jelly way for state lands. State lands, NBC MPP no normal fa. State lands, NBC MPP na normal fa. NBC under Rollins. Oh, but the Bramia metem have a green belt and Kruma Jay, almost 20 in NBC. Take diversity implementation committee. Yet you are town and buying companies. Before buy a Jake no in also koto and buying sending a buyer dying. Okude tomo de court and Kosiaga, even in the case of Jake, a court to release a statutory body and what Thomas Jake, Jake in Fanadi. There are so many cases between NBC and MPP. Or more tonton near Mano, Bankraba Muridi. Sabi Brumanu Sumato, Jimmy say, Jimmy as Jimmy, a vaccine cover, and away on my found and that of paper me or no man to feed. Okay, could the tabla pane, some judge, my mobile near the go one more move. Unless we change the law. She said the name President Tekase, Wakoya asset declaration. It's a useless asset declaration. Domain level crack catcher president. Domain level or catcher president say a useless asset declaration. What asset declaration a year declare? You declare share public. Also, person check corruption into who declare assets. From Rollins, more time, asset declaration law, never any nano. You to me, in the public, you still a first Abyssinia asset declaration. A goggles asset declaration. Asset I would declare Ghana any be any say we declare asset and once we declare asset. Who declare asset na here na car send na na dan send na na spectacle send na na shoes send na na ntade send na that's when we are talking. And when the Domele catcher president say and can no change law no public asset declaration. Where we Ghana in our to Mahama. What better I say about me or say Kennedy Japan in the future whoever you can get access. It's president to so declaring assets. Minister Bibano also declaring assets. Said we could you to black as airport is warranty. You can as a citizen. That's what they do. America, that's what they do. You can get access to Nipa record no so we declaring asset. And then you can check Nipa or car too. Or cars it is so free power. That's so declaring asset. Be me check it. Now when I fed any car na train about 20 then we can check. Now I say declaration pass the asset declaration. But you see, between NDC and MPP, they will never change the law. See? Between NDC and MPP, asset declaration law almost sad. Because it's NDC and MPP. CPP better now so that since and chroma a coy. PNC crowd bobo say crowd omaguno. Omatoma NDC. Omo maka no so the apalumuni adomo so matom the MPP. So between NDC and MPP, or more funny man. In 2001, be changing law because constitution or more they want to me to change it. So they won't change it to that. On that I say I say declaration benye who tebia. So let's go to your first issue about the other issues. Just your friend with him lady. And we are live on OKFM, any partner radio station, High Life Radio, Kings Jersey Radio, NASPA FM, and Adam Fupa Media, BBI or Honum Namigacho FM, so your Honum. We are starting with the deportation issue, then we'll come back to asset declaration, any corruption, any sika biakum or see a koji, but now who go collect them? The people who are to collect the sikano, the same people who are chopping. Yeah, what are parliament is NDC and MPP for no year negotiations. So, almost year negotiations. So, TV now, we document we are not better social media now do data once you need the item. Moya Mr. Adam Moya Moboso. The people who are sharing the oil blocks, no. Oil deals, no gold concessions, no or more than this MPP. Any NDC MPP now so do 5 CD data now they are attempts are not they are too hot. So of course I understand it. Yes, I'll be depression because I don't know what they are my endorsement. Do the attempts are not accord. Still many years in still no papa oh right in school of state elections you can't talk about school of state. Council of State. Minti even put that you Council of State elections on. Now NDC for one Council of State. If you Papa Ben I'm president. Council of State is supposed to be broad, across board, because in NDC for one taxes. It's supposed to be the independent people are present in chairman. It's supposed to be other people or more opposing ideas. Now people time intimates according to any Council of State. And then the Council of State in Kofu bribe openly near botch idea. Ghana, you're good and it's a big shame to us as Ghanaians that Council of State election. Now, in Kwalan, Mona Mobreo, because baby, no come start a class of mutuasnet. And Juma, oh, you can say the Chinese was net in a crying cheapy mount. Me, a politician or coffee and then yes, Gasha is secure. Mama, what to say I can ask Gasha has him. Nobody will change it. Because peace no benefit na no mbeko change no ka so be change o change ye ombe sisi ye da yeso any leaders na wo no. So let's go to the deportation issue and we'll come back to the corruption no. And then ye first say AK Pokua FM omo senior lawyer and founder ye nuaba Afia ohene twini aboaje esquire ono a lawyer wo Ghana lawyer wo US into ono no be start no amay idea no Trump nkofo ahe na say wa site omo Ghana embassy no so my problem approach them but say them can Ghana lawyers no more America ni nyina aye back so mo ntina ho ma Trump be di omo crop ani the you hear help they have places where you can go omo sessions zoom ni ade tie bi Now I'm more be uncle Sisiu. Because the fear and panic never. This week in Virginia, I'm not a swank of former. But I don't know him. Omunim say omo kwa warehouse if one ho sa Latino foi. Ko swank of phone na. And I just say madam will be aduma just next door. And I will try video no they send me. I'll see if I can play the video. But I can't say mama good evening ni akwaba.
Good evening.
Ghana also that sister why you what say what that je kakra ma because you say we are very busy you know nia ho adagest it's say about my updates say so far Trump ogusu cheche Ghana for no like immigrants nana what is happening now.
Okay, thank you for having me. Me pacho me share with you for so far, Nidia, as we've been saying, there's a lot of about system and a confusion. So I basa na eka Trump strategy ne ho say confusion ne hu ebeche amanfo no mu hu ne omo ho na ebi apake omo niema efikrom ha na ebi so mombe lucy guard into no ice etimi gina okra na wakoke kansema any se oka na obeye ye na emebi ense se obeye na ometimi e di omo account. As to the numbers ni there again confusion ni chaos a part of almost strategy. So o share ne ekoso na ice and Kasano, they don't have any website to be my live updates about who has been detained so far. Your Twitter account, social media, and White House Facebook page, and as of I believe early February, no more last statistics. For a while now, you need numbers almost is just rumor. And Tom Homan, Bodaza Nakase, surprises an element or mobile you see because you see surprise and not much or unaware, since you know. Too much information into the room was into there's not that much transparency in the numbers, no much channel and normal criminal profiles in the crowd because to say I wouldn't even know before Trump buy it or normal about 5 priorities. Every US government obia enforcement priorities because there's limited resources. Just as Sika ni ho bebre ye be an endless job into so to be prioritized okay top 5 in kofo we omo na ye kwa chichi omo. Number 1 undocumented immigrants omo be re mo omo crap papers and as omo the papers be re mo omo overstay omo papers omo no mo ye undocumented but I know omo per se omo saying crap criminal records gang members threat to national security number 2 ni undocumented almost what criminal records are I know she too much, but more criminal records is a fraud, assault, wahaka, krabatri, waha. So far, numbers no much chino. A bit fra, almost nisa criminal records, no.
You see, I chew my fra.
There are reports coming out about in fact, yes, calls from Nkophobia, almost your chime papa no driving only criminal record or you're just undocumented. At this point, Lydia, it's very hard to verify the exact numbers, what the profiles are of the people down.
But you always said Ghana for be they've been caught in this because also borders are they say you so surprised. It's on better chink of money no more. That's serious.
Yeah, that's very serious.
Because I think Ghana for be crown quite duma. Everyone what to him when a duma also pay baby for this is fear and panic and alarm.
Yeah, well, as at end of January, I spoke to head of consular affairs for Ghana embassy in DC, and Omameti Asese ICE had reached out to them. In fact, emergency convocation Ghana for Bekasaye. We had over 1,000 registrants were on the call on the Zoom, and according to him, ICE had contacted them and told them that they have to speed up process because when there are people in detention who are Ghanaians, the Ghana embassy then ICE will buy their tickets and then once they have travel documents, they can. According to him, I believe it was 136 that ICE confirmed to the embassy said they were in detention. I understand, say, Minister of Foreign Affairs has subsequent to this said it be 157. So I don't know, say be a numbers not
okay.
It's possible say be a bekaho. And there was some there were some links floating around from Fox News. It had numbers of people who had almost through immigration processor. Immigration judge has found that, as I say, United States. I believe Ghana, that number was 3,228. And also, the embassy also confirmed with ICE, and ICE said, yes, these are actually numbers, but the numbers are not static. They change all the time, because what happens is that Obi go through the immigration process, go through immigration reliefs available to him. Maybe a judge in the crack as okay, it doesn't matter. You must still be removed from the United States. After that, you've been ordered deported, but there are still avenues to still get green cards and US citizenship. In the end, they say the visa and we're overstaying for the past 15 years. And chill. Be now driving and a police chill no transfer to ICE. Now I say, need permission to be in the United States. It's the whole court. Court to asylum, only asylum claim. But while I will go through process, maybe I will fat process maybe 3 years, which she are US citizen woman. I'll say, okay, I love you, I want to get married to you. Won't worry. Once you get married, there's a process to terminate the case in court. But the process not say your order or deported go back to court to have something called motion to reopen. To reopen, well, you first of all rescind removal order, and that's all based on certain grounds. No, where reopen, and then you can have an adjustment of status and as apply for your green card in court. Some numbers no more not a change, because some people may have found reliefs. Attorney, something has come up, they have a new or buy your US citizen child. If you are call court on the 18 years. Later on, absolutely. Now, our available relief until you can go back to court and say, okay, me patch old order nearly open. Sometimes we will removal deportation, our own name crash or removal deportation. I know your friend removal in absentia. And only you say the Kofiato so on some papers. One court intino. They've removed you. I wouldn't even say you remove you. If you can show, say, oh man, to say court framing, you can show that with evidence, and also so to me deportation, and then they can reopen your case. These numbers evolve all the time. Some of them almost be a normal Kofiato almost, and I said they've been ordered deported, but subsequently,
okay. Internet is a numbers now. Just but confirm the way you can say I have one on my channel. Ghana embassy. My prayer Ghana embassy na catch say for 136 they are ready to move for passport tomorrow.
Yes, travel documents, prepare travel documents, and make sure say BBI fast. Because some of the countries necessarily play where no person delay.
Travel document
reviewed on a case-by-case basis, because as some review with the citizenship status and Nipani Yampa or Ghana, process to confirm say Nipani Ghana before they can go ahead and issue whatever travel documents.
Wow, according to ICE for no more Ghana for 136. Not the same minister.
That was as at 29th January.
Okay. You bet me about say see be about how much be account.
Highly possible. So be about more ICE detention. Absolutely.
It cancel let me say because say the ICE so they say money. They say can't no price so file will be a bon. Va pay for be answer. Until buy no matter.
Yeah.
Yanam Ghana for me. You say Munina my back, more Boamunianam Ghana for with information. So don't be who and Koha, Nancy men, Nancy, I'm one earlier. Mbeka say a year senior part Ghana for so do more. I do be new paper. Obi on my party now, no cotton hot, so call Benyan free. Obey any free, no, I'll call boobing. We shall have a German or boy, or she found that were upo. Just I know I saw new paper and one or that's in hot so. So Afia panic now. I suppose they create. Say they are advice now. The Bema Ghana for, or more, especially more money paper. No, my gym, kutan for 4 days. Person mechanic say no, the year Juma. You go from a student to but So the student visa and amount just 20 hours pay. Maybe I do a bit the ala be one chain. What would be the advice? Some quite demand a monk.
As I'm no I am shishipa, you know what's going on. A very destabilizing, people are disoriented. Yes, in Kofa, yes. Very confused, or you're very worried, and understandably so. And as I initially, no, even before Trump buy, you know, the advice that we were given, know your rights. You know, you have to know Fourth Amendment rights, Fifth Amendment rights, Sixth Amendment rights, which are relevant to the IAEA. Fourth Amendment rights here, you have, you know, there shouldn't be unlawful searches and seizures, right? And, you know, you have the right to be secure in your own home. Oh, fear. I've eyes into me, bamboo, remove and starting searching unless someone court, according to judicial warrant in your name, someone will be searching. Almost stop or crime, so eyes, they have to show that they have reasonable suspicion, say you are violating U.S. immigration laws. You know, until they cannot do so, say, akwawe based on the skin color, and I say nekasa, it must be a reasonable suspicion, not based on race, religion, or accent, and abibisa. And our Fifth Amendment rights also know, you know, you have the right to remain silent, and I said, no, you know, you have the right to counsel. Now, what the Trump government has done is mass deportations no more canon. And Quebec go through the court system, a bit slow you down. Currently, there's over 3.7 million cases pending in immigration court. We just have 71 immigration courts around the United States. And you know, well, and there's just about over 700 immigration judges. I was on fire about 20 of them.
Yeah, yes, so second profile.
That's right. And you know, immigration judge Bia would probably have about 6,000 cases already pending. And into what Trump has done is that why you be a friend of expedited removal. Expedited removal, no, a process where low-level DHS officials almost be deported without due process. Me law lecture back on due process, you know, due process. It's in a due process now. Kwaka say, oh, I have the right to remain silent. I have the right to counsel. They may not apply in expedited removal. Expedited removal, first, you know, not much amount for 100 miles near the land border, and if you have entered the U.S. without documents, just within 14 days. They say, Oma designated the entire nation as grounds for expedited removal, and if you've been here for less than 2 years without proper valid documents.
And it's all the could have a all the buyer. The fact that what's now 2 years, I only people no baby, I will be a McDonald's, so he will clean your bed. Just a baby, you are outside the purview of expedited removal. Expedited removal, two things. You came in without valid documents, and now said there's some misrepresentation or fraud, and you've been here for less than 2 years. It would be visa buyer. You've been here for less than 2 years. You do not qualify to be expeditiously removed. Okay. It's, you know, into the point is that say almost now when you look at section INA 235 expedited removal, it places the burden on the alien and as an immigrant to show say or continuous presence of at least 2 years. Into the burden is on you. Into say ICE agent or chill now he already knows say well. He can prove some type of alienage. Say, why establish a new area? Now the burden shifts on you, and you can decide there was some sort of document. I was a war system. According to the okay, so no establishes at least with your own free. Let us say they are actually the that actually
exactly. Yes.
So prove it. Oh,
yes.
Now status kakra.
Yes. And the thing is that a very dicey because generally no Oko immigration quota initial burden for removal proceedings at that government needs to show alienage, meaning say free her. It's normally when we say exert or invoke your right to remain silent. Oh, better catch up say, oh, and I'm Ghana, and I'm Afia. That's why you keep silent because Oko quota they have to prove that you are not from here. You don't want to give away that answer. However, if for some reason ICE agents in him that I say free hanoma. Now the burden shifts on you to show, say, you are not a candidate for expedited removal. To show, say, you either came in with valid documents and now say you've been here for more than 2 years.
Okay.
And again, as I say, there are a lot of rights. There's a lot of rights. For example, you have the fundamental rights to food as a human being. But and and I invoke my fundamental right to eat. You have to know
I like that example.
You have to know how and where to exert your right. And yes, I can end up being absurd. And I say it will be counterproductive to Adia Opesa. There are several types of removal proceedings. If you are going to be placed in regular removal proceedings, and Honabeka say, oh, and I'm invoking my right to remain silent because Udu Kota, the burden is on the bind to show, say, now, so over the whole year expedited removal, within a day, you can be deported if you don't have the evidence or proper documents. Yes, expedited removal is very fast, no due process, no appeal, and once you are deported, there's a ban of 5 years. Come back. Yes,
they deported 5 years to me to go US
into the US. Yes, under expedited removal.
On the beat.